Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Georgiana, and I kind of alluded to a little project the other day, something I've been thinking about doing, and so I decided since I was doing it today, I might as well go ahead and film this. I'm finishing up some Christmas cards, and what I had talked about was turning these into postcards. Now that's not done. I need to finish embellishing it, but I had been toying with the idea of adding little stands to the back of my cards so they would stand up, and I just glued the center part down, and let's see here, I should have been better prepared, and they do stand up, but you got to bend them in pretty good. There you go. So I played with a couple of designs. This one I actually used alphabet letters. This one is an L, and I'll show you how I did it. This one was a J, and I know they don't show up very well. Let's see if I can get them a little closer. That's the J, and that was the L. And then this one that I did today was just a design that popped up when I opened up Design Space. So I went ahead and designed it the way I needed to, and then I went ahead and cut it out. Now this is a heavier cardstock. My only fear is that I might have made these a little too small, but we will see. I had a couple scraps, so I decided to use those. I should have made these a little bit taller at the very least, but we'll see. Still kind of just a prototype. Let's see if I can get these off of here. There we go. Okay, so what I did was I put a score line on either side of the space that I used to fill in this design, and that makes it so that it's easier to fold out those little legs when you are ready to use them. Now it won't stand up on its own, so what we'd have to do is align this with the bottom, and I try to find the center as much as I can. It's 5.5, so 2 3/4. It's right about there. So when I glued these down before, some I glued right at the bottom, some I glued a little higher up. If you slide them up from the bottom a little bit, it'll kind of give your postcard a tilt, so it won't be standing straight up and down, which I think makes it a little bit more stable. Yeah, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get my, well, I don't need that. I just need my pencil. Here it is. And I'm going to find the center point here. So there's 1, 2, and about 3/4. 1, 2. Yeah, that's pretty close. And then I can find my T ruler. I'm going to put a little line across the bottom, just so I kind of know where to put the legs. I think I want them a little bit higher up than that. That's probably about right. Let's see. I'm just drawing that line really lightly. So, get out my glue here. And I'm just going to glue this, what do you want to call it? This center part here. And I want to make sure I get my legs. I can come over a little bit. Okay, oops, I moved it. Okay. Try not to glue your legs down. Okay. So just get a good adhesion, and voila, your card stands up. Now, when I send these out, I am still going to put them in an envelope because I am going to put embellishments on the front. But it did leave room for my sticker in the back, and actually I probably could have positioned my sticker right in the middle and put that over the top of it. But, yeah, live and learn. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I made this, and actually it doesn't really need to be any bigger. It stands up fine. That may change when I get done embellishing, but I will go ahead and erase my pencil. And actually I didn't even need to do that. I could have just left my T-ruler there and lined it up with the edge of that. And if I remember that next time, that's what I'll do. There we go. Got rid of all of it except for that first one. So, voila! So let me show you how I made these. And I'll get my computer set up and we'll be right back. Alright, so these are the 4 that I just cut out, and what I started with is this shape right here. I'm going to enlarge this. We'll do it this way, it's a little quicker. So this shape in the gold, it's not letting me click on it. Oh, where am I going? Got crazy fingers. There we are. So this shape in the gold, which is not letting me, that is so weird. There we go. Okay. This shape here is the one that popped up. So I'm going to delete this one. Well, I'm not. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just duplicate that. And we will reattach that and rehide it. That way I can just delete all this when I'm done. So what I did was I kind of sized, well, I brought this in from Design Space. I'm going to get rid of that. And I sized it to roughly where I wanted it. And again, I'm not real good at figuring out what the measurements should be. I don't know what the words for it are, but I went with 1.5 because I knew these were in a postcard size landscape. So I didn't want to get them too big. I could have gone bigger though, for sure. But it turned out they worked out all right. The size is actually fine. So I picked this shape from Design Space. I think, yep, here it was. It just popped up on my thing now. I have a subscription, so it's free to me, but it may cost something for you if you are just using the free subscription and not the paid one. So I selected that, or added it to the canvas, and went back to my canvas, and there it is. But you can see it was a lot bigger. It came in at 3 by 3 roughly, which actually would have worked, but it is a lot bigger, and it wouldn't leave as much room on the back for someone to write their message. So I just resized it to where I thought it needed to be. And then I went into offset, and I did not like the way, I'm going to cancel and get this down here where we can see it better. I did not like the way it automatically defaults at 0.25. I just felt like that was kind of big and puffy. So I ended up resizing it down to about 1. It's at 0.097, and I thought that looked all right. Now the other thing I did when I brought it in, which I forgot to tell you, I'm going to go ahead and hit apply, but then we'll come back to that. I'm sorry, this is a little out of order. If we go back to the home screen and we select this image again and add it to the canvas, and then go back to the canvas, you can see it was standing up. And you know, it was not in the shape. I need to visualize it, or I can really only visualize it in the way that it's going to look to me, and this would have been upside down. So I did some flipping and resizing, and I just wanted to make sure that for me, I wanted this point and this point to be touching the ground. So I did turn it, and in order for me to see that better, I did turn on my grid and then kind of line it up on the bottom line, just so I could kind of tell that it was touching, and that looks pretty good. So I did do that just to make sure that I had 2 points of contact on this side, 2 points of contact on the other side, and the card itself. So I didn't want to forget to tell you that. So I did do that, and then once I got it this way, I just duplicated it. So actually what I did was I just got rid of this altogether because I don't need it anymore. This is going to be my shape. And I just want to make sure that those are still, yep, they're touching. So then I duplicated it. I aligned them and centered everything. And then I just flipped the top one horizontally and just kind of scrolled it over to where I thought it looked good. And yeah, somewhere about there. And then you can go ahead and weld it if you're happy with that. So we'll go ahead and weld it, combine and weld. Now that's one piece. And I'm going to change it just so it'll be a little bit easier to see when I put something on top. So now we need that the center portion that's going to be glued to the card. So we pick a shape. I kind of like the one with the rounded corners, but they're going to be, it's not going to matter. And so then I just kind of resize that to fit. I'm going to unlock the proportions. And usually I like it about a 1/2 inch wide. And then you can just kind of shrink it up until it fits in there. Now, I did not want to go past the bottom here of the cut, so I just kind of got close. And then up here, I just kind of went up to the top. Let's see here. Alright, so before we do anything else, I'm going to change that color too. I'm going to make it white because that should show up pretty good. So now we need our score lines. And I'm going to bring this one over, kind of line it up with the edge of this curve here. And then I can resize it because it's obviously way too big. And I'm just going to go just below that cut there. And we can resize this one and come just down a little bit. So now that we've got that sized, we're going to duplicate it. And we're going to bring it over. And I want to align these two kind of, actually I don't even really need to do that step. Let's see here. That puts that just inside, that score line just inside where I really want it. So I'm going to see if I can just manually move it over just the tiniest little bit. Oh, it's going to give me all or nothing. Okay, well, I guess we'll go with it. Okay, so what I want to do now, actually maybe I can just move this over just the tiniest bit. Nope. Okay, so now I'm going to pick both score lines and I'm just going to use the layers panel over here. And actually before I do that, I want to attach this white square to the base of the stand. And so once they're both selected, I'm going to weld. And there we go. So now I want to send this to the back. There's my score lines. So I'm going to select everything and I am going to attach. And then we can zoom back out and you can see that you've got your little stand created. Now, this was just one shape that I used. I used alphabet letters the other day. from different fonts, just to kind of get more of a unique shape instead of just, something that's square and, not too interesting. So you can really use, there's a variety of shapes that you can use. But there you go. It's pretty easy. Feel free to, I'm going to link my, I'm going to share my link in Design Space for this file if you want to just get it that way. The link will be in my Facebook group. If you want, or you can just, create your own, play with it, have fun. There is a little bit of trial and error depending on sizing and stuff. One of the things you could do with this is, now that everything's attached, you could unlock the proportions and you could make that a little taller if it will let you. It's not really. Let's just try typing it in. Oh, I don't want 300. I want 3 inches. Yeah, I must have a bad connection, or it's because it's attached. Let's detach it and try it that way. Oh, there we go. Okay, so, you can also resize it that way if you need to, but I would create it first. Well, I say that. Going taller isn't an issue, but if you go wider, it will stretch out this glue spot here in the middle, so just beware of that. Anyway, not to over convolute and overcomplicate things, this was supposed to be a quick video. That's how you do that. If you have any questions, reach out, give me a shout. I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, thanks for joining me. This was Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and it is a happy Saturday here in Arkansas, so happy crafting.